Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another one of my favorite videos to film, my Pan Those Eyeshadows update videos. This is update number 5. We are in June and I'm so excited to share with you the progress that I've made on all 5 eyeshadows that I'm working on in this project. And we are rolling out an eyeshadow. Unfortunately, I haven't hit pan, but I do have like a number usage that I have hit, so that's super exciting. But before we kind of talk about all that, let me quickly explain what this project is all about. This is one of my absolute favorite panning projects to both watch and actually do because there's a little bit of like a game element involved with like the random generator portion. But basically how this project works is I randomly select 5 eyeshadows from my collection to work on until I hit pan. And that is how it's like set up. Now that being said, I have kind of given myself a little bit of an out. If I hit 20 uses on an eyeshadow and realize that either it's gonna take a long time to hit pan or I don't really love using it, I can roll it out at any point once I hit 20 uses. So I did that once with a black sparkly eyeshadow that I had in this project, and I am going to be doing that with one of the shadows that I've been working on for the last few months as well. But I've also hit a few pans already in this project, which is super exciting, and I think I'm getting very close to hitting another pan, so also super exciting. So we're just making progress in my collection, which is awesome, and I'm also getting the opportunity to work on shadows and wear shadows that I probably never would have selected like on my own, but because they're randomly being selected, I get that opportunity to do that. So all in all, it's so fun to do. It's really cool to kind of create some looks that you might not have necessarily created, and I've just been truly enjoying it all around. So with that all being said, I do have my spreadsheet up that has all of my numbers, so I'm going to quickly walk through those numbers with you right now. So currently I have 204 eyeshadows in my collection. 17 of those are just single pan eyeshadows, and 187 of those eyeshadows are across 11 different palettes. I still only have 18 pans, which is what I had last month, and so my pan percentage has stayed the same since I've not hit more pan or added or removed any eyeshadows from my collection, and so my pan percentage is still 8.82%, and that leaves me with 186 eyeshadows that are eligible to choose from when I roll out the one shadow that I am going to be rolling out this month. So those are my numbers. Can't wait to get that pan percentage up. The goal for this year is 10%. Hopefully we can hit that sooner rather than later. But yeah, let's talk about the eyeshadows that I've been working on. I will tell you how many times I've used them, and then we'll do some close-ups. You'll see the progress that I've made on the eyeshadows over the last few months or however long they've been in the project. The first shadow comes from my Spanglish palette. This is the shade Muy Excited. I have been working on this since the very beginning, and I have used this probably like 50 or 60 times total already, and I just feel like the progress is so slow and so minimal, but that is okay. I am determined to hit pan on this shade. And so here it is. I use this in my crease pretty much every day that I'm wearing eyeshadow, and that is the shade that I'm working on. I do mix it sometimes with other shades, so I have a coral shade that I'm working on in this project. Sometimes I mix it with that, sometimes I mix it with brown shades, but it is always being dipped into for my crease, and a lot of times I also wear it on my lower lash line. I think this is just a super hard pack shadow that I have definitely made like a clear dent in, but it's such a small little dent that I have like no idea how long it's gonna take me to hit pan. But like I said, I'm so determined now because of how much that I used it. So I could be using this in my crease for a whole year and not hit pan, and that will be really sad, but I will do it. I will use this so regularly until I hit it. So I used this 18 times this past month. Next 2 shadows actually come from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 2 palette. The first one is Positivity. I used this 6 times this past month. This is just this bright coral shade. I actually have what it feels like the same level of dent in this shadow as I do in this one, and I've used it significantly less than I used the Muy Excited shadow, but I think this one's just like a more powdery formula, and so it's been able to move along a little bit faster. I have mostly worn this as like pairing, like an addition to the orange shade and kind of mixing those two together in my crease. I've worn it like all over my lid and sometimes like a little bit in the inner corner, but it's mostly been like a crease shade that I've worked on. I really do like this shade. It's just so bright that it's sometimes a little bit hard to work with. But this is another one that I would love to hit pan on and think I can if I just continue to like regularly focus on it. I don't think it's ever gonna be a shade like Muy Excited where I'm hitting like 18 to 20 uses in a month, just because I don't find it as wearable as that one. But that being said, I've continued to make progress. Like 6 uses I think is great, and I just need to work on it, and I think I will hit pan eventually on that one. And then I rolled in another shadow from this palette last month, and that is the shade Flawed and Odd. I only used this 4 times. The reason being is I had a gold shadow that I was working on that I needed to hit 5 uses in my Shop My Stash project pan, and then you'll see the other shadow that's like a shimmery shadow in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. I had a lot of usage on that. So this one didn't get as much attention as it maybe would have if it was a different month, but I'm definitely like pushing forward on a couple other eyeshadows that I really want to hit pan on, and so this one got a little bit backburnered. That being said, I am so happy the shade is in this project. I think it's absolutely a stunning shade. It's beautiful all over the lid. I've kind of worn it in the outer corner as like going from like a lighter shimmery shade into this one, and so I think I'm gonna get a lot of usage. I ended up devoting a lot of my time to another shade this past month, and that shade is this is the Kiko Milano 200 single eyeshadow. I wore this 14 times this month, and I'm really excited for you to see the close-up because I have this little ridge going, which whenever I feel like I get a ridge like what's happening in here, it means like pan is right around the corner. And so I got really excited about that and ended up using this probably more than I maybe would have if I didn't see like some really good progress. And so I'm thinking that I will definitely be hitting pan on this in June. I would be shocked that if I didn't. So super excited about the progress that I've made on this shadow. Obviously, even if I do hit pan, there is so much shadow left in this compact that, you know, I don't know if I'd ever be able to use it up, but it would be pretty cool to hit pan on this one. And like I said, I use that 14 times. I just love this shade. It's so versatile. It's so good for me to wear to work. I just kind of pack this all over my lid and roll. And that's work, but like I can wear this anywhere. It's such a pretty shade. Sometimes with a wet brush, it's a little bit more impactful. But just in general, this has been really, really fun to work with. So happy it's been in this project. And I'm really excited because I feel like I'm on the verge of pan. And then the shade that I'm rolling out probably doesn't come to a surprise to any of you who have been watching this. I'm rolling out a shade from the ColourPop So Jaded palette, and it is this one down here, this sapphire blue. I've had this in probably the last like 4 months maybe, and it's just a patchy kind of light blue color, even though in the pan it looks way darker, and I haven't been loving it. I've worn it a lot of different ways to try and make it work, and what I found is the way that it works the best for me is actually just used as eyeliner. And so I ended up using it 10 times this month, I'd say pretty much exclusively as eyeliner, and that brings my total usage of this shade up to 22 times. And so with that, I was like, okay, not only have we hit 20, but we've surpassed it, so I'm gonna feel just fine about rolling this one out, which that's exactly what I am doing. And so I'm rolling it out, although I will say, and I don't know if you'll be able to see in the close-up, but right when I just swatched it, I did feel a little bit of an indent. So I did make progress on this shade. I mean, 22 uses, like obviously you're gonna make some sort of progress, but it's hard when you're mostly just dipping in like a very thin eyeliner brush and barely using any. So although it's not ideal, like ideally I'd hit pan on every shade, it is something that just felt like it was dragging on and that I was never going to hit pan in a reasonable amount of time. And I want to be having fun during these projects, and rolling in new shades is what I find fun. And so I don't want to just do that like all the time, but I did devote, you know, 4 months, 22 uses to this shade, and I feel good about being able to roll it out. So this is where the 4 shadows that are staying in looks like. This is the one I'm rolling out, and now I'm gonna grab my phone and we are going to select a new shade to roll in. Okay, let's do this thing. The shade that was selected is 155. So funny enough, We just rolled this palette out and now I'm rolling it right back in, and the shade that was selected is Garnet. So it's this really pretty like purpley reddish shade. I feel like in my previous like pan those eyeshadows in the last like couple years, I've panned like a couple shades that look really similar to this, and how I ended up always wearing them was just like in the outer corner with like a shimmery shade on my lid. And that might be the direction I go in, but I'm like super excited about this quintet that we're working on. It's not as fun and as bright and different as some of the other ones that I've had the past few months, but I feel like it is working very well together. Like all of these shades could work really well together. So this could be an opportunity to wear all 5 of them quite regularly, like to work or something, versus feeling like it's a little bit difficult to wear them all together, which is kind of how I felt probably the last like 4 updates. So really excited about that roll-in. And I'm keeping with this palette, which I have mixed feelings about. I mean, I really like this palette, but part of the fun of this is actually like bringing in and getting to try different palettes in your collection, but I don't have a ton, so I guess the chances of me hitting like a different one every time is probably a little bit slim. So the nice thing is like I was working on Sapphire for a really long time, and now I get to continue to use this palette and just focus on Garnet. So excited about that. I really do love the shade. I love like my color story, so all good stuff. I am now going to transition us to me doing an eyeshadow look with all 5 shades. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm going into the office tomorrow, so maybe I'll do it while I'm getting ready tomorrow for work, because I feel like these could work really well for work. They could work for work, you know? So I think that's what I'm gonna do, so I will catch you guys in that clip. I am back. It is the next day. I am getting ready for work. It is 7:02 a.m. and I already have my foundation on, I've powdered, and I have some eye primer on. So I think we can jump right in to the eyeshadows. I know this is gonna come as a complete shock to all of you, but I am going to start with my crease shadow, and it's going to be the Alamar More Excited, and I might do a little bit of mixing with this one as well. I feel like this is applying like really patchy on this eye, but it's fine over here. So not sure why that is, but just going to try and keep blending it out. All right, next is a step that I'm going to take, although I feel like it might end up getting covered up by some of the other steps that I'm gonna take, but I'm gonna grab Positivity on just this flat shader brush and put it all over my lid. I'm hoping that this will shine through some of the other shades I'm putting down. I don't know if it will or not, but I've never tried it before as like kind of like a base shadow. It's so bright that I thought maybe it would, but if it doesn't, then lesson learned, but I think it's worth a shot. Next, I'm gonna grab Flawed and Odd, and I'm going to place this on the inner part of my lid, and I'm just picking it up with my finger. Going to do a little bit of outer corner action with Garnet. Grabbing my Avon eyeliner, I'm gonna throw this into the waterline real quick, and then I'm gonna blend that out with some Way Excited. Alright, last step is inner corner, so I'm gonna grab my Kiko Milano eyeshadow in 200 and just put that in the inner corner and take it up a little bit and also down onto the lower lash line a little bit. So this is the look that I came up with. I am going to finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back so you can kind of see the whole thing together. So this is the final look. I feel like the eyes are very like sunset vibes, especially because I do feel like that coral shade is peeking through under both Flawed and Odd and Garnet, which so it's doing exactly what I would hoped it would do, and I feel like that really lends to like that sunset-y type look. So surprisingly, I kind of love this eye look. I feel like I'll definitely do it again throughout this month. So very happy with how this turned out. I hope all of you enjoyed this video, just getting to see what shade I was able to roll out and what new shades that I'm working on. I'm hoping to hit pan soon on a couple of them, although I think one of them might be a long way out still, which is heartbreaking. But I hope you stick around for my next update next month to see what progress that I made. And also I have a few upcoming videos hopefully this month, just updates in my makeup collection, updates in all the pan that I have since we are halfway through the year in June. So hopefully we'll get those up within the next few weeks. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope all of you are doing well and staying safe, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.